Our 2 cents.
With Oscar.
Doing. It is July 28th, Wednesday of 2021. Boy, what a year have we had, right? It's been up and down, left, right, upside down, right side up. It's been every single where that it could possibly go. I guess things could be much worse. But for the time being, they're great for me. I mean, for the most part, everybody's having a great time with the consideration that some people might have lost their jobs. But for the most part, we're all healthy. At least in my experience, should say that. Anyways, today we are gonna have a conversation with Maximilian of the Superhuman Public Radio podcast. Let me just get this going, and I will let you know that today it is Happy National Milk Chocolate Day. Now, that is one great day. I hate when this does this, but let's do this. I'm trying to send my email, and this thingy-majigger. You know, those expressions that we used to use as kids. Well, anyways, that's not even the point. It doesn't matter what the expression was as kids. But today, this is another subject that it's dear to me. I enjoy talking about. I apologize, Maximilian. I was having some technical difficulties. That's why it took me a minute to send this back to you. But anyways, this is a subject that I enjoy. I have fun talking about it, even though I have no knowledge of the subject whatsoever. And I think it is important to talk about political things because we all have our opinions, and I mean that's how truth gets out there. And without further ado, Maximilian Clark will be joining me in a second. Let's see. Let's wait for a second.
Have to hold you. I realize that.
Yes. And here we go. So,
Fight for the puppy.
there he is. Maximilian, correct? All right. How you doing, Max? I'm Oscar. Nice to finally get to see who I've been texting for the last couple of days. And I think I lost you. You froze. Let's see. Nope. We're having technical difficulties. There we go.
You froze up.
You're back.
I think something weird's going on with my internet. I'm gonna pull this back up on my phone in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. See.
We're good. Okay, let's try again. Now, it might seem like a little slow start, but it's due to technical difficulties. We are gonna try to figure this out. I don't know what's going on with his. Let's allow him again. And they're connecting. Let me. Okay. I cannot hear you. I can see you though.
Okay. Sure.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. Sorry. Are we live right now?
We're recording already, but it's not live.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Do you want me to record a local copy of my audio, or?
No, it's fine. I'm recording it in two places. I'm recording it on my laptop and my Rodecaster.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Great. All right. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and let us know what you do and how you got into this places that you've been getting into. It's interesting, and I find it amazing and funny the way you troll them. And it's, they people take a lot of things too serious. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Maximilian Clark. I'm Logic Max on TikTok. And for the last year, my buddy Walter Masterson and I have been going to Trump events undercover to sort of expose this world to the rest of America. I feel like people think, oh, QAnon, they think the election was stolen. Whereas your normal everyday Republican thinks that the election was stolen. Right. QAnon thinks that it was stolen by clones so that they could collect more babies to eat. Swear to God, that's a thing they think.
Right, I knew about that one, but see, a lot of these conspiracies that they throw out there, some of those come out to be true, and that's why it's like, what do we believe?
I don't think the clone thing is probably true.
Well, what I was gonna say about the baby ones is the one, aren't they collecting? Is it this study about rats that they did where they took the blood from a young mice? And they put it on a old mice, and I guess the old mice rejuvenated itself, just changing their blood, and I don't know if this is what I've heard.
I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise isn't doing that.
I've heard it from that. I think that name was involved with it. No, but this was a rat study though.
We have not found the secret to immortality. If there was a straight up immortal rat, even the mainstream media would be reporting on that because that would sell newspapers like crazy.
Well, I didn't think it became immortal. I think it just the rat, it just kind of it got rejuvenated. I guess it got a new.
There's that thing Silicon Valley references having a blood boy where you just pump a youthful person's blood through your body, and as something that the super rich do, and is there someone that does it? Sure. Is that why we want legal abortion, so we can take those fetuses and then turn them into blood sacs for the wealthy? No.
Right.
Absolutely not. The heart of the seed of any conspiracy theory is that it has to seem plausible and it has to make you think oh, this is how the world works.
Right.
And so it has to have that sexiness to it.
Yeah, that's right.
I've worked in politics. I can tell you that that is not why abortion is a thing. Oh my God. It's the things that they pick up on. I was talking to people that showed me two pictures of Joe Biden's earlobes, and we're see how they're a little different? That's when he was replaced. And it's not even internally. They think that Joe Biden was replaced by Trump. So it's a clone of Biden that Trump is controlling, but he has to do things that Trump doesn't like to keep up the ruse.
So that to me, that's even crazy to even say. The guys don't even like each other. So, and why would one guy clone the other guy to make him do what you don't like?
Yeah. That's the thing with most of the conspiracy theories. They kind of fall apart if you think too much. It's like flat Earth. It's the circumference of the Earth would be 70,000 miles. 10 times, 11, 12 times the length of the U.S.-Mexico border.
Right.
Right. Who's patrolling it?
We have an ice wall around us, according to them, right?
Right, exactly. That no one has seen and no one's taken a picture of because no one could buy a boat or rent a helicopter or an airplane. Everyone who has a pilot's license is in the amount of people who have to be working inside of conspiracy for most of these conspiracies is it's half the world's population has to be in on it.
Right. People can't keep a secret. Somebody always has to know. Somebody's always going to want to tell somebody else that they know something that they don't know, So the idea that's a conspiracy, that they are right there hiding that much information that's pretty much publicly available. You could fly over there and look at it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how that fits in anybody's mind that that's even possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason people go to like these Q rallies or join the Flat Earth Society is, I mean, it does make you feel special though. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you have the secret knowledge, like if you know something that like all these sheep out there don't, and they'll tell you, it's like, now you're on the inside. You know, we need you. You're a warrior for truth, baby. You're gonna save people from being autistic, or save communists from taking over your school board, right? And it's like, and it's bullshit cult
Right.
like gameplay. Like it's just like every single cult is based off of building people up and making them feel special.
Right. It is. That's what I was saying. That we always want to know something that somebody doesn't know,
Yeah.
and you always want to have the insight. And these people, that's what they thrive on. Somebody comes up with the hilarious conspiracy or fact, air quotes, and they'll run with it. They'll believe it. They'll be tooth and nail believing that is true. Like the fact that they say the Biden is not at the White House, that he's somewhere else. Like how is that even possible?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it is due to a logical fallacy called circular reasoning, where it's like if you're certain that your conclusion is correct, then you just sort of make the facts fit it.
Right.
And so like they see Biden on a bicycle, but sleepy Biden can't be on a bicycle. He's too old. That doesn't conform with what I already know about Biden. Therefore, the what other explanation must be correct.
Right. Well, but
Um,
this is my personal opinion that I can't deny I mean, I'm no doctor, and obviously I'm no political scientist, and I wish I could express my opinion better than I could now, but I'm working on it. It'll come one day. I'll be able to express it the way I want to express it. And I lost my train of thought too. I do that a lot.
well, okay, well, you're not a doctor.
Oh yes, I don't know anything. So, but the way I see him talk sometimes, we can't deny the fact that he might be going through something, because we can't deny he is old. He's already like, how old is he? Like 77, 78?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, right. I mean, old, knowledgeable, but he's been part of the game for a long time, so he knows how to handle business as usual. But I just would like to know the reality of it, because all these conspiracies that get thrown around out there, at least for myself, they put me in a position where I'm like, damn, what's true? What's really happening? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's funny, when the internet like first was developed, people were thinking like, oh, we're going to exchange knowledge, and then like we're going to have this huge knowledge central, like anything you want to know will be at your fingertips. But I mean, it's a wiki, right? And so like, as that's happened, it's been both, right? I mean,
Right.
you can find any piece of information you've ever wanted instantly, but you could also find some completely made up like garbage conspiracy theory, and unless you know how to spot the difference, it's really easy to get like taken down the wrong path.
Very.
There's that quote, like the a lie will make it halfway across the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on.
Yeah.
um
Takes forever to get
yeah
there.
yeah but it's like, it's just like it's faster to get a lie out, and I think that's something that we see, especially in the mainstream over the last 5 years. It's so like you don't need to like prepare a lie and make sure, like, you don't have to check and validate sources, you don't have to do studies, you could just say it.
Right. You could just say, I saw this on the YouTube video, and then it'll be
Right.
believable.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can make a YouTube video. Why not? It's like, I mean, I talked to a lady who swears she saw a video of Hillary Clinton eating a baby like corn on the cob, just like going in at it, like, just like napkin in her
Right.
like business suit. And I'm like, no, you didn't, but you
Well,
think you did.
here's the thing, though. She might have seen that. Have you ever seen those
Right.
videos of the deep fake? Is that what they're
Oh,
called?
sure.
Deep fake? So
Yeah,
she might have seen
yeah.
that, which nobody knows if that would be a deep fake or a real one, right? But how many people do you know out there that are really eating other people? I mean, we don't live in a cannibalist society, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long ago that ended, right?
Yeah, I mean, like outside of Walter, I don't know anyone that I've seen eat another person, much less a baby. You know, that's part of our warm up. We just
Right.
feast on the blood of a virgin, and then we go out there to a rally. You know, it gets us hyped.
That's the first step, right? So
First step.
how do you
But the insane thing is, Infowars will hear this and they'll report what I just said as fact.
see?
Even though like it's obviously ironic, but like anytime something is out there like as a joke or like you get like a picture of people just passing and then like you know QAnon will be like, aha, see the truth at last.
They jump on it as if it was a fact, right? Like they see it as a fact.
And once they report it, there's like 100,000 people that are just instantly like, yes.
And how do you think drives them to call everybody else a sheep?
Well, I mean, you know, that's part of the superior because they have the secret knowledge. And so if you don't have that secret knowledge, you're just going along with the story, right? The story of that, like of your lived experience, right? You
Right.
know, and so since they have the special knowledge and you don't, you must be a sheep. But these people are such sheep. Oh my God, there is not a there's no critical reasoning in this crowd.
Right.
At all. I mean, like, and like, you know, historically we've been exploiting that because we can get them to agree with basically anything as long as we say it in the right tone.
Right. Definitely. That's for sure.
But it's so sad. It's like lately, like we've been trying to pivot away from making fun of these people just because it's getting so depressing.
Well,
That, like,
I'm not
yeah.
shooting at them to make fun of them. I'm just trying to understand how is it possible that you fall into this train of thought, which leads me to ask the question, because before, like back when I was like still in high school, I would ask myself, how did these people fall for following, like, for example, Nazi Hitler, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? But we are seeing it today, right in front of our, everywhere in front of our faces. It's the way it happened. The idea sounded good, and the group of people followed it, and they implemented it, and then everybody else was screwed over.
Sorry. I mean, I mean, you know, post World War Germany, like was broken economically. There were a lot of people who, like, you know, were, you know, completely bankrupt, and Germany as itself was embarrassed and robbed of power. And you had this guy come in and it's like, hey, I'm gonna make Germany great again.
Right.
And I'm not making a Trump comparison. That's
What
literally
he
the
said.
line.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I read that.
Yeah, and it's, you know, when people are sort of on the outs, they'll grasp at anything.
Right.
You know, and that's why, you know, for me, it's like I don't want to trash the people that go to these events so much. I mean, like, you know, some of them are like shit human beings, but for the most part, they're fine. Like just
Right.
normal human beings are just led astray. But like for every one of those, like you have to imagine, like, you know, all the organizers know better,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for me, like, you know, people like, you know, Mitch McConnell or Matt Gaetz or you know, probably Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson. Like Tucker Carlson knows exactly what he's doing. That is a smart dude. He knows specifically that the things he's saying are bullshit, but he's found, you know, like they've commodified fear and bigotry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they've found a way to make money off of like this divisive rhetoric, and so they're juicing it, right? And it's this weird nexus of like the anti-vax movement. So you have a lot of holistic, like snake oil salesmen, and you have like the American First white supremacist crowd, and you have people who are the like sort of disaffected evangelicals, who's like, because their church isn't radical enough for them anymore, right? People like, it's like Christ is too lovey-dovey. I want to know whose fucking fault it is.
Right. I mean, isn't that what see, a lot of these people though that have joined that crowd, they're religious the way you were talking about them, right? They're religious, and if they were to follow every single command that the air quotes Bible says that you have to follow, they wouldn't be trying to get these things to pass and trying to get all these things in place, right? Like the kind of things that they do, like I don't know, like keeping people out of coming to have an opportunity or whatever the case may be. But that's
Right.
even that's a touchy subject too, because you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first, like I have cousins out in Michigan who are like evangelicals, and they're told not to read the Bible themselves. Their preacher will tell them what's in the Bible, which
Oh,
is so
what?
scary to me. And
Right.
because it's like, because if you really look at it, it's not there. Like there's nothing about abortion in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that argument was manufactured in like what, the 50s, 60s, when they found out that it was useful political lever. And it's like, figure a lot of these people are quoting like the Old Testament, but you talk to like rabbis, and like 80% of them will just straight up tell you, yeah, the Old Testament is allegory. You're not supposed to take it literally. You're supposed to learn values from the stories, right?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that what the whole
And yeah,
Bible is, though? In
yeah,
general, like
yeah.
they're just metaphors. It's not like it's not supposed to be literal.
I mean, any world religion is designed to teach you how to be a better member of society, right? I mean, like,
Right.
thou
Of
shalt not
course.
kill, because if we did, you'd be worried, too worried that everyone's going to kill you and you wouldn't be able to build a house,
Of course.
right?
Right. They would have then.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, there's so many fundamentally good lessons in there, but you can take any Bible verse and say it means whatever you want it to mean, right? And people do, like,
Right.
quoting the Bible out of context is a favorite of AM radio, which is, I think, one of the big seeds of
You
this
know.
thing. I mean,
Uh,
I was talking to someone at this last rally who used a Bible quote to justify like the police state, and I'm like, okay.
was saying that God implemented law on earth or something like that along those lines, right?
Yeah, like the lawmen should have a sort, like, the first modern police force was made in like the 1800s, right? It's like the Bible didn't say jack about what a police officer should or shouldn't do.
Right. And on top of that, the Bible was implemented by King James, right? So it was all made for
Well,
political
it
reasons.
was translated. Yeah,
Yes, right.
yeah. Um, yeah, and the King James translation also, most biblical scholars I know, like, it's not the most accurate one, because figure like the Bible wasn't written in English, so like you always have to account for it. And like, I'm not a biblical scholar, so I'm not going to go into it, but there are some interesting books about like how the different translations affect uh,
Right.
our interpretations of the good word. Um, yeah, but it's real easy to just.
There's a lot of words that have been changed just because of their meaning as well, too, in there. So, you know,
Yeah. Well,
you
I mean, also like a lot of the, I mean, like Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew. There weren't as many words when the Bible was out, and so a lot of the nuance wasn't there. Like you
right
get it a lot
expressions.
from context,
Right.
and the context,
Context.
of course, shifts over the course of 5,000 years.
Yeah, the meanings changed as well, too, right? Every single word.
Yeah.
Like back
Yeah.
in the days, like what was lit? It was cool or it was hip. Hip it started as hip, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about how language changes. Yeah, like every like 5 years now.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Sorry to keep up, but yeah, but religion is always the easiest way to get people in, because it relies on faith. There's no evidence required. It's like God said it.
Yeah. Right. I have to believe it just because it's there.
Right. And well, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, you have to believe it because I saw God and he told me this. And if you don't want to go to hell, you're going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like that's straight up the rhetoric that you hear at these events.
They think they're special. I don't know if you know. I think it's Jim Baker. Is it the evangelical guy? So
Hmm.
well, it was one of this evangelical guys that he was talking about that he couldn't fly in regular airplanes. That God told him that God gave him the money to buy his own airplane simply
Oh,
because he didn't want it. God didn't want him to be traveling with drug addicts and I forgot what other type of people he said, but he
yeah,
mentioned
because
a couple
God
of them.
wouldn't want anyone walking around the poor or diseased or like like outcast. Like it's like they've never heard any just passing fact about Jesus. Like they like, in order to justify these things, it's like, yeah, like Jesus wouldn't want socialized healthcare. He definitely wouldn't heal people for free.
Didn't he
I'm
do
like,
that?
yeah,
According
like,
to the
do you
Bible,
know
right?
literally anything about Jesus, my man? Uh, but it's, yeah. It's all
That's
silliness.
exactly what he did. Heal people for
Yeah.
free. He didn't even ask for prayers in the Bible. I've
No.
seen the Passion. Was it the Passion of
The Passion of
Christ?
the Christ.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. He never asked for help. He never asked for anything. But you know, this is what I wanted to ask. Like, how did you see those that group of people? It to me, they're kind of scary. How do you get the guts to just walk in there and just blend in with them and just act like?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of it is, I don't know. Grew up Jewish in Michigan, and like, I'm sort of was used to like the occasional person checking me for horns. Like
Right?
just growing
It was your
up.
fault.
Like I actually went to a straight up white supremacist like Klan meeting in college for my school newspaper. Like I was working for my school newspaper. I heard they were getting together, and I was just like, I need to know what's going on. And yeah, so like I went. I'm just like, I'm Jewish, but I'm white. I'll like I passed. But
Right.
like,
Yeah, you get a pass.
it's an insane little world that they have. It was like a lot like a family reunion. When like if you're there and if you're one of them, like it's so welcoming. They're like, hey, do you want something to eat? Here we go. And then there's pictures of lynchings.
Damn.
And yeah, like there was a guy that shook my hand and straight up looked me in the eye and said, "Burn, Jew, burn." And like I was like, "Oh, I've been found out. I guess I get murdered now." But then he turned to the next guy and went, "Burn, Jew, burn." And that's just how he says hello. Like he just like
Oh.
straight up says hello. And you had people there who were talking about how the what's it called, stand your ground laws. Like Florida just passed a law that said that if you feel like you're in danger, you can shoot someone.
Right, which
And they were
is
talking about how like, hey,
that's very
you could
dicey.
you could just like make sure that before you shoot a black person, you just scream out, "Don't come any closer." And this was like 2 or 3 years before George Zimmerman did exactly that, using exactly that law. And it's like, like I was just, I guess all this sort of radicalized me against, like no one likes a white supremacist, but I had a thing about it because everyone there was talking about how you got to get your kids, you got to get your family, you got to make them cops, you got to make them local politicians. We have to affect policy. And 10 years later, what do we see? We see the exact same talking points that came out of their mouths, just like on stage for like hundreds of thousands of people. Like Trump's been at rallies where I've heard the exact same talking points about like people coming to steal your jobs. These crackpots think that slavery happened because the Jews wanted to punish the white man.
Okay.
Jews built the slave ships to bring black people here to punish the white man. And I'm like, that is so far from any actual history. But people eat it up because it conforms to their view that, they're innocent bystanders and everyone's making them feel bad for stuff that they didn't even do.
Right. You know, I'm over here thinking when you said that I'm over here trying to put myself in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
And I can see why they would believe that. I guess it falls into the belief that they believe in because if we push our guilt away from us to the other group that was demonized a couple years back, then that might take the heat off of us, right? Is that the idea that they're in? Do you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and it's mostly that like your personal failings aren't your fault, right? That's what it
Exactly.
always comes back to. Because like there are a lot of actually really good history book or not, but like nonfiction books about how like in the 1800s, um, white poor whites were starting to come together with freed slaves to sort of like demand better working conditions. And
Mm.
what happened immediately after that was this big effort to say, hey, these black people are stealing your jobs.
Oh, it sounds
Like, and that
familiar.
doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, right. And it's like a lot of racism in America is born out of class struggle.
Yeah.
And that's what it usually comes down to. It's like, the people who are like the big racists aren't even that racist. They want to maintain the power systems that they have now.
There's a word
Right.
I'm trying to think of. Prejudice. A lot of
Yeah.
them are prejudice.
Yeah. A lot of them, like they don't want to shake the hand of like a non-white or something like that. But like for the most part, the calculus that they're doing is, it's all about money. right? It's
Right.
like right, which is, I mean, same thing that's happening at these events. Like this whole Q movement is just this microcosm of white supremacy, where it's like we are using your prejudice to make money.
Right. And you know what's crazy
Like,
to me? When you see that single black person in that crowd
oh
advocating
yeah,
for that belief, that
yeah.
how do you think that happens? What does it take for that to get into place?
Well, there's like, do you know who Candace Owens is?
Not familiar with it, but I will write it down.
Yeah, she's a youngish uh, black conservative who does like a lot of speaking tours and
I think I
a
know.
lot of like, I mean, I don't know if she has books, but she's an influencer in the conservative movement. And it's like, I think certainly if you are a minority who has conservative beliefs, the conservative movement is so happy to put you up at the front lines. Like, who is it, like Diamond and Silk? Like there's a few like just black conservative celebrities that are just like, hey, no, they're saying we're not racist, right? And they're black. Wouldn't they know? And so they get book deals and they get paid speaker fees and they get, exposure, and they're just pushed out there. So you know, it gives you this false sense of diversity, because if you look at the crowds, like, yeah, you might see a black person.
Yeah, just one. That's pretty
Right.
much it.
Right. I mean, like, and you actually will see, like, a mix of like Latinos and Asian people like in there. I mean, and it's just like, as long as your group isn't the one that they're specifically targeting in the moment, it's easy to be like, yeah,
Get
yeah,
him.
let's get him. Right. And yeah, I'm sure it takes some of the heat off. Yeah,
it,
like, I mean, it's gosh, yeah,
it,
it's a mess. It's something that's like kind of like, I'm not gonna tell you what your lived experience is, but or like how you should feel. And obviously black people aren't a monolith. A lot of them are, they're I understand black conservatives that come out of religion, right? That like,
Mhm.
if their church is steering them in this way, they can build up the ethos and things like that. And it's not like Democrats have really been wonderful for African Americans in this country. They're just not just because they're not actively trying to destroy them doesn't mean that they've enacted good. Like, I don't know where you are. I'm in New York, and like,
I'm in
we have
California, yeah. And
yeah, New York City has the most segregated school system like in the country, and
still,
that happened under Democrats.
is that
You
a
know,
by class or by color?
by color.
Oh wow.
You look at
Okay.
the top public schools, they're 90% white. No, 95% white. Like 95% white, 4% Asian, 1% black, something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do they get
Yeah,
away
and
with this narrative though? How do they? I mean, not narrative, but I mean, how do they get away with it?
um, yeah, it's honestly like, it's like racism is just very institutionalized. It all like when we talk about institutionalized racism, what we're really saying is that um it didn't happen by accident, but because of how this country was built and how the structures were put in place. A lot of these structures that we have developed from times where they're like, we were legitimately segregated, right?
Right.
Right. And so like, things that keep people down are tied to poverty and like your ability to um move upwardly in society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, if you separate out a group of people and they live in an area that has worse schools, right? And schools, of course, are funded by your local taxes, right? So they're, like, they're going to be like, you're just going to have less funds dedicated to it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Crime rate is higher because it's poorer. Public services are worse because it's poorer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
For sure.
And just being poor is just like bad for you in general.
It is definitely is.
Yeah.
You know
Right. And it's like, yeah.
that.
Um, and just like, there's a lot of subconscious bias, but there's a lot of systematic things that are just like, like a good example is they had this computer algorithm that they used to determine bail,
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
right? And they're like, this is going to make it fair. They introduced this in like 2012. I don't have the exact dates.
Who did the
Right.
programming in that computer? That's the question.
Well, like experts did, but it's machine learning, right? So it's going
Right.
to learn from like how people set bail, and they had to take it down after 5 years because just being black created a value in the system that like greatly increased your bail, like up to 60% off of just being white, regardless of any of the other situations, just because it looked at like where bail was being set for different people and it was trying to take in all those factors. And it was just like, oh, yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's like, and it comes out in so many like small, subtle ways. Yeah, I mean, like you look at like housing valuations.
You know, I agree with
Education.
you in a way that it's there is it's an income inequality. But at the same time, that's the reason why I love this country so much. I love the opportunities that it offers here.
Sure.
The problem is not all of us are starting at the same starting point.
Sure.
Some of us start way in the back, and some of us start right at the beginning of the line. You know, and like there's I'm pretty sure there's people out there that want to do things like what we're doing right now, but they can't because they don't have the equipment. They don't know what to do or stuff like that. But it all comes down to opportunities, I believe. And I believe that this country offers great opportunities for anybody that wants to take them, you know. And once you take those opportunities that are available to you, and if it's easy to capitalize on them in this country, because if you go outside of here, you do anything with I mean, social media. I mean, I'm not really too familiar with outside, but I understand it's harder than it is here. And
yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean,
but hold on. Let me say where I'm talking about. The area that I know of is Central America. That's the area I'm talking about because that's the area I know of, and that's where I believe that they don't have as much opportunities as we have here, and that's why I love this country because of the opportunities that it offers. But I also don't like the fact of the unfairness that the certain groups of color people face.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many different metrics. I mean, like you like the most consistent metric, right? I mean, because like you look at like how many books did you read before the age of 4? That's a predictor of success. You look at how many hours you spend doing homework. That's a predictor of success. But the biggest, most consistent predictor of success in this country is money.
That's definitely true because you need money to make money.
A rich C- student is more likely to go to a better school and have better jobs waiting for them than an A+ kid.
That is true.
From a poor household.
And that's the unfairness I'm talking to that I don't like, that I dislike, you know, because like I said, we don't all start at the same point, and you're talking about that rich student with C+ and the poor student with A+, then the C student that's in a better economic role is going to have a better opportunity than the A student, right? And that's the unfairness I talk about.
The problem people run into is it's easy to get distracted by one factor. Like you look at wealth and it's like, yeah, but if you compare two wealthy people and one of them, you know, is a black woman and then one of them is a white male, the white male is also going to do better, even if they have the same income, right? And it's just like, because like, and it's a distraction sometimes that you get into when you debate this with people, because they'll point at like this one factor and they'll be like, yeah, that rich black person does better than this poor white person. You're like, yeah, they do. That doesn't mean that there's no racism.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True. Usually, like, you know what usually turns out the comment that people make when that's the case, which you pointed out. Well, he must be a drug dealer, right? That's what people jump to.
Which is inherently, which is racially motivated, right? Because it's meant to demean black achievement.
Right. Definitely, it is.
And it's like, like America is like, it's a good country. Like it has its problems, but like, I love it. It's my home and I want to make it better and better and better.
That's where I'm at too.
Like, I mean, throughout Asia, Europe, like some of the more prosperous African countries, South America goes up and down, like depends on the state in Mexico. But any place theoretically, if you work your ass off, you can get a slightly better life, unless you're in an active like military like junta, right? Like and that's the comparison. Like people always like, well, thank God you're in America and not in this place where there's like not 1990s
You're right.
Rwanda,
You're right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But you know what? You know
you
why I
never,
said that too, though? It's because this is what I know. And
right,
I don't
exactly.
know anything else out there other than what I have here.
But you never have people be like, thank God you're here and not in Canada where it's slightly colder.
Right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's, I think a lot of it is just like, these little discussions I think are, they're fun, but it's so hard to fix problems when we can't agree what the problems are. And I think they're so complicated too that it's like you can't boil it down to a single expression. And I think part of why, just to go back to the original thing, part of why this alt-right movement spread so quickly and is so passionate is it keeps things simple. Right? There's like the real problem is they understand that there's nuance and they want to explain everything. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you got to look at these social and economic factors. We have to look at the impact of race on the society and things like that. And Republicans be like, yeah, illegal immigrants are stealing your jobs.
Right.
Boom.
That's what it comes down
That's
to.
it. Why are you poor? Illegal immigrants.
Right.
Like that's
it's an easy target to aim at. It's just like, it's over there, not here. Don't look over here.
Socialism.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Socialism. Right? Anything you don't like, it's socialism. Actually, at this, we haven't posted these videos yet, but at the last event we were at, like Walter, so like I've been a producer for Walter Masterson. I mean, he's been my writing partner for like 9 years.
Oh, nice.
And we've been doing this for a little while. At this last rally, we've been talking about like how to fight socialism, and we've been trying to, and we successfully convinced everyone we talked to fight socialism with communism. And we're like, hey, you know what we should do? We should break up these big companies. Like, they're not producing work. The workers are. The workers should come together and take down big tech, which is literally seize the means of production. It's straight up communism. And they're like, yeah, that will fight socialism. I hate big tech. Or like, we need to stop socialism by coming together as communities and making sure that if you're sick, you can go to the hospital.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
socialized medicine. And they're just like, yeah, let's do it.
It goes to show what they're doing, right? It just puts it out there. Like, they'll fall for anything that makes that you make it make sense.
Right. If you use the buzzwords, because that's it. It's like they've simplified the platform to just the buzzwords. There's no content behind it. So like, socialism can be whatever you want it to be. Yeah. Like socialism is big pharma selling vaccines. That's what socialism is, for a profit.
Right. Yeah, it's all about the profit at the end of the day for right. all groups, I guess.
That's capitalism. That's like the opposite. but they can't say capitalism is bad, so they call it socialism, and it's just so silly. Yeah. That they do that.
That's crazy. So, what's your stand with the whole Cuba thing that's happening?
The whole what?
Cuba.
Oh, yeah, with like the protest that's been going up.
But what I'm trying to say is like, what's your stance on people asking for the U.S. to intervene?
So, U.S.-Cuban relationship has been, we tried to kill Castro like 14 times. Like our relationship with Cuba has always been a little rocky.
Right.
I think if the Cuban government asked us to intervene, we would, but otherwise, do you want to fight a war in Cuba?
No. But what I found really scary about that subject was, I don't know if you paid attention to the governor of Florida saying that I'm sorry?
Yeah, DeSantis?
Yes, I believe that's his name. Yes. Yeah. He was saying something along the lines that they need to bomb Cuba.
They need to bomb Cuba?
I think I don't want to miss. This is just me quoting him, but it's not word per word. But those were along those lines.
So yeah, let's think about that. The people of Cuba are suffering under communism, so we should bomb them.
That was his idea.
Yeah. That's it. Like, it's all.
But what I'm trying to.
I'm sorry. You don't want to pay $1,200 a month for insurance that doesn't let you see a doctor? Welcome to Cuba.
Right.
Right. It's like it's this slippery slope fallacy that's like, if you want any public service, then I guess you want a authoritarian communist government, and there's so many steps in between those.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
pretty
know,
scary.
it's such a smokescreen. Like they bring up Cuba or Nicaragua, they love bringing up Nicaragua, or like
Honduras
communist Russia,
too,
something like that. And it's like, yeah, there's, but also like Belgium,
right? But where I
right?
was asking, that wasn't what I was asking. What I was going to ask is like, is do you think it's okay for the U.S. to intervene, even though we know that in the past when the U.S. has intervened in a place, it's never been good for that place.
Yeah,
In the
I
best
mean, right.
interest, I should say.
I mean, keep in mind, Cuba is where it is because we intervened, and we're like, hey, what if you had this dictator for a few years? And they were like, I mean, I mean, like, figure, I mean, Central America,
Yeah.
and why Central America is the way it is. It's because every time they tried to elect a communist, we installed an authoritarian dictator.
Right. That's
And
what I never
then,
understood. Like
Mhm.
the people, I guess the right would be, they don't want people coming here, I guess, right?
Sure.
They don't want immigrants coming here, but
Right.
they're not willing to share the workload so that those people don't want to, I should say, don't want to or have to come over here.
Yeah, well, it's not like America was founded as a country of immigrants, so why would we want them?
That's what I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I mean, like, maybe it's because I live within sight of the Statue of Liberty that I'm just like, fellas, um, yeah. So like intervening in Cuba, I mean, like, it's like, I mean, military intervention, like I think we tried regime change back in 2000 and 2 and 2003, and it really didn't work out too hot. I think that we should always be ready to provide humanitarian assistance to anyone who needs it. I mean, like, there's lots of like soft power ways to help people who
Mm-hmm.
need it. Um, but like, using that fancy military that we have to like solve the world's problems, it's like when we're not invited, it usually doesn't. I mean, it didn't work out so well in Afghanistan and Iraq, but I actually I can't comment well on Cuba because I don't know enough about the situation right now, and I don't
No,
want to
yeah, but no, I understand that. But what
talk
I
about
was
it.
asking, like, what do you think about those people asking for the U.S. to intervene? That was my question. Like,
Sure, but
the
like, I
people.
mean, again, I
Oh,
don't know enough
yeah,
about it.
that makes
I mean, who
sense.
are the people? How many of the people? Like, how much of it is just like a
Yeah,
guy with a cell phone and 100 people?
right. Well,
Right.
what I think, I mean, I know it's not really that important, but what I think is, I don't think people should be advocating because later on it turns to putting the blame that it was at the end of the day it was the, I guess it would be this country's fault, right? That they're in the situation they're in.
Sure.
Yeah, your video's gone.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm googling the latest from down there. I
Oh, okay.
mean, yeah, I mean, people are rising. Yeah. GP request.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's people in Cuba that don't like life under communism. That totally makes sense.
I don't.
Like, you know, the entire Cuban population of Florida would totally agree with that sentiment.
Well,
Um,
I have a
yeah.
my neighbor. One of my neighbors is he's Cuban, and
Mhm.
he would tell me about like not too long ago he was telling me about the book that the people in Cuba get, and that they only get certain rations of food that they could buy actually, but
Mhm.
that's why I'm like I don't even know what to think of that, but what I
Well,
do think is that these people do need help. Like there's a lot of
sure.
people
I
out
mean, but
there.
like, the reason Cuba's poor is because America had an embargo against it, right? You couldn't trade with them, you couldn't visit them,
Right?
right?
Who put
Like,
that
figure
though?
Obama was the first person to open it up since like the 50s,
Damn. So yeah.
right?
So,
And
and
so
then
like, can you imagine like not like being where Cuba is, like in the Gulf, and not being able to trade with America,
right, and they're like what
right? I
90
mean,
miles away from it.
yeah, like, there's no commerce happening, and like, you think it's like it's a community, a communist government, sure, but just like China, tourism money would have made that place like
Yeah.
like stable,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't have the resources, then like when you're hungry and poor, everything's just like a little tense. But but honestly, like I feel like I shouldn't have an opinion on Cuba, like until I've read like security briefings on it.
Oh, okay. I agree with you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
but that's the thing. Like we're sort of ruled by uninformed narratives, right? It's like,
Yeah, for sure
I mean,
we
like, and
are.
they're fun to talk about. They're fun to talk about, but like people having definitive opinions without like enough data, it's like,
For sure.
that's my whole thing.
And that's where I'm at. I don't have any data at all other than just what I've heard from like I said, my neighbor, because he's Cuban and he's got family out there. So that's where I'm getting my information from. Whether
and it's fun to discuss, but like you gotta have keep in mind that like when you're having it, it's like you're not going to be right.
Of course, of course.
Like or if you are, you're not going to know if you're right.
Yeah, definitely, that's true too as well.
Right.
But the way I see it is, I believe what I believe, and I'm not married to it. And if more information comes to light, and I find out about it, then I'll end up changing my stance more than likely. Because if it's not true, then it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's so healthy. Like one of the best ideas that I ever latched onto was the idea of like, if I'm debating someone, I'm not trying to like prove that I'm right. I'm trying to be right at the end of it. And like, if halfway through the discussion, I'm like, oh shit, I'm talking out of my ass. You are way correct. If I change my mind, I won.
No, right.
Right, because I'm not as dumb as I was at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, you learned something new, and that's what we should all be open to.
And actually, so one of the new things that we're doing is like, I'm just like, because we've been doing like trolly like daily show like gotcha moments, and one of the things that I really like that we've started doing is just like above board, like, listen, I think we disagree about this topic, but I bet if we talk, we can find something we agree on, and just like convincing people, like very above board, like I am going to convince you of this thing. But like to do that, you really have to make the other person feel like it's safe to change their mind. And I think that the way that we have discourse, especially like online, it's like, if you change your mind, you fucking lost, you fucking loser. Boo, 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 got you. And it's like, it's such an unhealthy way to have a dialogue with someone. And that's why we're so divided right now.
Right. You know, it's what you said earlier that
it's like, we should normalize changing your mind.
Yes, definitely we should normalize changing our minds. It's become something that if you change your mind, you're stupid and you don't know anything. When in reality, it's like, okay, no, but we're learning new things every day.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, not to be like a '90s stand-up, but like I'm married, so I know the value of admitting when you're wrong. And it's like, actually, I have the best freaking relationship. We actually have a song that one of us will sing when we realize the other person's right about something. Like, it's just like, you were right and I was wrong. You were right and I was wrong. Now I sing the you were right song. La, 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 la. Right. And like my wife will sing that anytime I'm right. It feels amazing.
See, that's a healthy a healthy place to be in, like, because you recognize when you messed up or you have the correct information and your significant other doesn't. Then you correct them and you both learn and grow with each other.
Right. And I think because I know that she'd do it if she was wrong, it's easier for me to do it if I'm wrong.
Right. Definitely.
It's like, it's just the thing we do because we don't want to be wrong about something.
Yeah. I for sure, I'm one for sure to hate that when I'm wrong, but I do enjoy knowing that I was wrong, but I found out the real fact about it.
Yeah. I'm actually doing like a series of videos on that on my TikTok this week, because a lot of my TikTok is like how to argue better.
Okay. Let's see.
And I think part of it, like, I mean, God, you look at the comment section of every video. Like, I have a video where like literally one guy has 1,300 like replies in a comment feed, and like most of them are his.
Wow.
And it's just like him saying something, and then hundreds of people saying, dude, you're freaking wrong. And they've been like, in the last week, 1,300.
Was he wrong though, or was he right?
Oh, he's super wrong. He's like,
but he doesn't get it.
He hasn't met a true statement yet. Like, he is so far away from anything that could be called a fact. but he's persistent.
Right. Well, I mean, if he's putting in the work, maybe one day his
Yeah.
reality will come true. I guess.
Yeah, no, but like I'm doing these videos for him because like he should know that like, hey, it's not an L to be like, you know what? I gotta take it back. Maybe communism isn't destroying our country because we don't have communism now.
Right, right. I mean, what is it then, right? Yeah, that's interesting. You know what? Now that you mentioned that, it reminded me one of your videos that I because I went through a couple of your videos on your TikTok, and one of the ones that I thought it was really hilarious and accurate as fuck. Excuse my language, but it was accurate. The Ben Shapiro one, that one where he goes off and explaining it actually and this and that. That was so accurate. I was laughing, dying. I almost threw myself on the floor when I saw that video.
Awesome.
I just
no, it's like I don't know. It's so exploitative. Like he does a lot of tours with Young Americans for Freedom, but like Turning Point USA, they like go into colleges, and it's like I don't mind that they go to colleges and rile up their base with like total bullshit arguments. But what bugs me is what they'll do is they'll do Q&As with college students, and then they'll put them online as like this is like their entire channel is like watch Ben own the left, and he's owning like a 17-year-old.
Right. Yeah, that's what I noticed as well too. He makes
this argument.
You know what? The way he expresses them, I wish one day I can express myself because he can make them believe anything he wants, right? Because he's good at expressing it. That's what he does every day.
Like I don't want to trash Ben Shapiro's debating skills. Like they're fine.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's better debaters out there, but he's fine. Like he's a good debater. It's just everything he's arguing for is such bullshit that like anytime he talks to someone who's as good at debating as him, he walks away. He's like oh yeah, well
I met my challenge.
Yeah, like all those guys. I mean, like Steven Crowder's in the hospital right now, running away from a debate. No, I shouldn't joke about that. His lung collapsed. Like even his own body. It's like I can't be complicit in this bullshit. No, sorry. Again, I shouldn't joke on this man.
I mean, sometimes the joke is fine. You're not hurting nobody.
Yeah.
We know it's in the intent behind your words is just to be funny and is not to hurt anybody's feeling. But
right. Like I'm not like Steven Crowder's lungs. I'm not trying to do that.
You're not trying to collapse either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Max, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. And and if you want to come back in the future, and please do. And I would really like to talk to you again because I really enjoy this conversation. And thank you very much for giving me the chance.
No, this was awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And again, just Logic Max on TikTok. Max takes the best pics on Insta.
All right. Please send me your link so I can put them in the description, and then we'll go from there. And like I said, I would enjoy another conversation in the future with you, please. And that's it, man. Thank you. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well. And I'd like to say thank you to Maximilian. It's like he was saying, I'm gonna talk about myself, but I don't have all the facts of what's going on in Cuba or even here. I just know what I've seen. I'm not too knowledgeable on politics or anything like that, but it's a subject that I know it gets touchy with people, and it's a different thing to talk about with how do I express this? I don't even know how to express this because how do I put this? And I lost what I was trying to do. But anyways, I'm trying to close this because that's it for the conversation today that I had with the great and powerful Maximilian. Thank you, Max, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, and I appreciate it. And give me a second while I get this figured out because we are not getting anything here, and it's just been a day with fails and after fail after fail. So bear with me. And that's not the right one. I keep telling you that's not the right one. You know, there's one thing that I dislike, and this thing when my settings change. I don't appreciate it. I don't really appreciate it at all whatsoever, because this is getting ridiculous. Well, like I said, thank you very much for listening. This is R2 Cents. I got that one right. So you see, as I was trying to close it, I figured it out, and well, like I said, I don't know the facts about what's going on in Cuba, but it's interesting the way he expresses things, because like he says he doesn't have the facts of what's going on over there, but he would like to have the facts before he shares an opinion about it. And I as well would like to have the facts, but I really don't. And hopefully one day I'll get the facts, and one day I'll be good at talking like Ben Shapiro. And that being said, I'd like to thank all of you. Please sign up for the YouTube channel, subscribe, check out the website. I need more traffic in there. I need this YouTube channel to get going, and subscribe to Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, anywhere. Please subscribe. It costs nothing to you, and it means the world to me. Thank you very much. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary folk. And we'll see you next time.